Hey Talents. So I decided to do something a bit different. It is to create a game. Trying to create a game using ChatGPT as like my sidekick. Okay, and record it of course for you guys. So here's the Unity. I just called it AI Snake because we're going to probably make a snake game. And let's just create an aspect ratio, and I'll just go for 10 by 10. Okay, square is a good start for a snake game. And let's have a look on the ChatGPT. Okay, here it is. Okay, so I opened my session of ChatGPT. I'm paying them money. So let's start. So how to create a snake game in Unity. And basically what I'm doing here is I'm using my experience and my knowledge as a Unity developer and as a game developer and as someone that understands AI to better understand how to use the input from ChatGPT to create the game. Let me just make it a bit bigger. And let's go over it, and I'll try to do what I can with itself, and what if I see that anything is needed to be done otherwise, I'll do it. So let's start with this. So creating snake games involves several steps. Here's a high-level overview of the process. Okay, set up Unity to the project, create the snake, a game object, and add script that will control the movement. Okay, now this is very high level, and we'll talk about it later. Movement, the script in snake, you will need to define the roles of how the snake moves. Okay, add food, game over, and scoring. Great. Set up the Unity environment. Okay, to the project, a scene, add a camera to the scene, imports the sprite for the snake, food, and background. Again, this is correct, but it's a very high level because we'll talk about it in a minute. Create a new game object for the snake. Okay, movement, adding food, game over, scoring. Okay, so for example, do understand that the sprite of the snake is a bit, it can be a bit challenging. So let's tell it, okay, how should I create, let's see if it can answer this, the sprite for the snake, the sprites for the snake, the sprites for the snake. And this is actually a clue because we need much more than one. You can use a graphic design tool such as Adobe. Okay, this is not really helpful, right? So let's go to Unity, and so he gives us a good outline, but we do have to solve a problem and understand how to use them. So basically what I'm expecting is to say, okay, let's show it in Unity. Okay, so we have here the game. Let's put the game aside, and this is the scene. The scene is 5 by 5, and you know what, this is a bit small, so let me use main camera. Let's change the size. Instead of 5, let's put it at 10, which will be 20 by 20. Okay, and I'm assuming that for each square here, 1 by 1, will be a step of the game. So what's the possibility there? So we can have either the a snake part, we'll call it, or we can have either a snake part or a food, basically, or maybe background. So let's have a look on the snake part. So we can create a sprite in many ways, but you know what, I'll do even better, and I'll open Illustrator by Adobe, and I'll show you how I would create the sprite for this game. And this will be interesting. This is something I didn't expect to do. I thought of doing it only with the squares, simple square sprites, but this will actually be great because it is a good idea to know how to create some art, even though I believe most of you haven't worked with Illustrator and probably won't. I don't want to recover my old work here. I just want it to be inside the same recording screen. And let's get to work. So I want to create a new file, and let's give it, okay, so let's say I want my canvases to be 128 by 128, not millimeter but pixels, and I want to have, let's do 5 of them, and okay, I think this will be good. So basically I want to have few squares that I can work with. This is very big pixel. Okay, it doesn't really matter because we're working with and this is okay, vector graphics. Okay, so let's think of how do we want the snake to look. So the snake, if this is a square of a step, let's say we want to have the snake head, right? So I'll create a rectangle here, and okay, I'm just doing this for now, and let me put it in the middle, and let me change the layout a bit. So Windows, workspace, I'll do Essential Classic because I like it to be up here, and I'll use this to put it just in the center. And I don't care about the color of the line, I do want a color inside, and let's do it green. Okay, and so this is like the basic head, and maybe this is the basic part of the snake. Okay, and okay, let me put it in the middle, and I'll use it as basic. So first of all, you know what, I'll use this tool. This tool is for the outdoors, and the reason why I deleted him is because I want to create a copy of this one. So it still has the line but you know what, let's, okay, no, I don't want the line, sorry. So no line for you and no line for you. So how do we create this to be a part of a snake? So let's think about what kind of part of the snake we can have and what do we really need. So we can have just from one side, which can be either the head or the tail. Okay, so let's put the head and the tail, and the head will be something like this. Okay, and I'll use this. Okay, if I want to create it, the corners to be round, I can use this tool. Just select one of them and make it round, and make, okay, just a second, and take this one and make it round. And I want to it to look like a head, so let's put eyes on it, and for that I'll use this tool, and okay, I'll want it to be black eyes, you know. Okay, just a second. Okay, and so I'm putting this thing, and I'm going to put it with white inside with this. I actually would like a black line, and put a bit bigger, and this is kind of cute, right? I'll make a copy of it, I'll put it smaller, I'll change the background to black, and this can be like a pupil, so this will be like a sock like a sock doll snake. And if I want it to be even a bit better, then I'll make a duplication again. I'll change this color to white, I'll change the size a bit. Okay, and this is kind of cute, I think. Maybe not as cute as I think. Okay, but here's an eye. I'll group it by Ctrl-G, and this is a copy, and this is a copy, and here we have a snake. Now, what's important to understand about all the sprites here, that we can actually use it to different directions. Okay, so whether the head is going up or down or left or right, I can use the same image. Now, what other possibilities I have? So I can either have a corner or all the way. Okay, I wouldn't have like just this in the middle. So I can either have something like this, left to right or up and down, and you see like the connection here. And let me show you. Let's do a corner now. And you know what? Just a sec. Okay, and I like this one. Okay, so this is the basic, and here I can work on this part and just create a continuation, right, of the snake. And I can, okay, and this one will be a corner, so a corner can be something like this. Okay, just a second. So I will do Control C for copy. I'll put like this, and Control Shift V. We'll put one in the same location I copied, and I can put it like this. And now actually I have these two parts which are great for corner, but the thing is that I want to create it like make it a bit round here. So let me do that. So first of all, I want to connect them both together. I'm going for this one, select both of them, and I have this tool right here, and I just press and drag, and now I have one shape. And once I have this one shape, I can, okay, I didn't want to move it, just select it and select this point and just make it a bit round, which is really nice. Okay, and now let's say I want to create the tail. So the tail is basically the same. I'll delete this, and sorry, I'll delete this as well. Okay, not sure what happened here. Maybe, yeah. Sorry. So, okay, great. And now I want to create the tail. So for the tail, I can actually use the head again, and I'll just duplicate this. I'm dragging it with Alt, and I think I can't rotate it, but let's just delete the eyes. Take this one, and I'll put it to match here. So I'm going to use the rotation tool. I'm going to, okay, shift and shift drag to rotate it exactly by 90 degrees. Now it's not in the center anymore, so I'll put it in the center here. I'll use the V key and just drag it up here with shift. And let's make sure that everything connects as expected. So I take this tool to arrange the artboards, the canvases maybe, and I'll just put them together, and you see that it's flawless. It's great, right? Okay, so it looks really nice. Maybe we want to have something nice to show that the tail is a tail, but you know what, this is pretty good. And I can also add like something that will make it look even better. But you know what, this is good. This is actually really, really nice. So we have the snake here, and we want to create all this part. Now the question is, do we want to create a different image for each part, or do we want to use that image and rotate it? So you know what, I'll just and another thing, I can actually start, you know what, the tail, I don't need the, I can use actually tail without rotating, because I can decide that it always starts from somewhere on the right, and then I'll use the tail in one position and the head in one position at the beginning, and the more it goes, it changes. But you know what, actually the tails, it's wrong, because the tail is coming after us, so it's right behind us, and so it will change direction as well. And also, I'm not totally sure if it should be like part or all the way down, okay, because it might look strange. You know what, I'll do it, I'll keep it like there, and we'll just see what's going on. So let's just export this and work with it. So to export this, first of all, I'll like save it and save as, and I always use on my computer. I don't like to use any types of clouds. And let me see where I'll put it. Okay, so I have here my projects, and Unity, I have Unity General, and okay, projects, Unity, YouTube. This is not where I put the game. So Unity, I think it's Unity, and is in Unity General, the project, game, yes, and AI snakes. Okay, so I'll just, it's kind of funny to put it here, but okay. You know what, I'll put it in, I'll call it like resources. And snake AI resources. And it's kind of funny that AI and Adobe Illustrator is the same thing, so snake AI resources. So here it is, and now we want to create the different images. And later on we'll add other assets we need, but let's start with that. So file, export for screens, and export for screens. I have all of them. I'll give them names. Head to left, I'll call it. Okay. Mid body right to left, in short. And this one will be mid body bottom to left. And this one will be tail to up. Okay, and I can put it inside, I want to put this inside subfolders, and Unity Games Resources, this is a good place, and I'll just export it, and I'll get all these nice images right here. Okay, and now I can use these images, and because I did them as PNG, they have no background, which is great for our game. So all of that, now let's go to Unity, and I'll put here a new folder and call it images, in short, IMGs, and let's just drag everything in here. So I'll need all these four right in here. Still kind of thinking about it, and I'll save the scene, and for now I want to create an object that can handle them. So let me start by just creating a simple object for that. So I'll just create an empty one, and I'll call it snake part. Okay, and snake pack I will add. Okay, and I will add a sprite. Okay, so I'll do it like this: right click to the object, sprites, and I kind of want like an empty sprite, so I do it differently. I'll do it by not by add component. I'll actually just drag it here, or I'll drag it to the screen, and head to left. I'll put it under snake part. I'll call it just and part SPR. Okay, and as you can see, it's quite big. So I want this to be the size of one of them. So I'll just change the size. Okay, and I should probably do it with Shift. And if you see in here, it's totally disappear because this is actually a bad resolution. It's not an aspect, it's just a 10 by 10 pixel. So I'll do like this, aspect ratio, and this is what we need. Okay, great. So it kind of look like pretty small, but okay. And we'll fix it later. So let me make it. Okay, so this one looks pretty nice, right? So we have here the snake, or maybe it's quite small actually, but okay for now. So we see that when the screen is not big enough, it doesn't look good, but we can work on it. So we have the snake part, and we have its sprite, and the snake sprite also if I put it like this, okay, it's not the right location. So let me just put it on 0.5, 0.5 and 0.5. So here it is in the exact place when I need it, and I want this to be in the same place, so I'll just put it. I think if I put on 0 and 0, yeah, this is great. Okay, so we have here the head and the bright sprite, and okay, so now we want the snake part to have an ability to control the sprite. So let's for now just add a new script, and we call it snake part, and we'll open it with Rider, right clicking it, plus and open this window. Okay, I love Rider. It's a great IDE, especially for Unity. Okay, let me. Okay, I'll just make it a bit smaller. Okay, very nice. So we have it in the script, and we see that start and the update are grayed out because we haven't really done anything with them. And this is the snake part, and the snake part has can give it a sprite renderer that works on the. I actually don't want the sprite renderer. I want the snake part SPR. So first of all, let me go back to Unity, and I'll I'll call it. You can call it snake part SPR or part SPR, but let me just add a new script for it. So part SPR. Okay, and I'll let the part SPR handle all the visual, and so I'm not really using ChatGPT by now. So let me just open it. So part SPR, and we need to have a sprite renderer. Sprite renderer, which is and I usually call it like SR, sprite renderer. And what I'll do in the start, or maybe even in awake. So what I love about Rider is things like this. I can just go, I need awake. Okay, and on the wake I'll do, okay, SR is equal to get component and sprite renderer. This is what will give me the ability to control the way I show the sprite. So let's do something like this. So let me so first of all I want to define the directions. Okay, so I'll do a public enum public enum, yeah. Okay, and I'll have a part type, and later I have part direction. So part type will have three possibilities, right? So we have head, mid body, and tail. And for the and I also need direction, so public part dir, and part dir can be I'll use I'll use direction like in a campus. So let's say for the okay, I'll define the direction by the side that the part touches. So if I'm working on the head and it's like looking to the left, it's actually touching the right. So maybe this is kind of confusing, right? So okay, okay, let's do it by the type is touching. So instead of I'll do east for east touching only right, and head looking left, and the tail coming from left. Okay, so this might be a bit a bit confusing, but I can work with that. So this is probably not the best one, but let's just go east, south, west, and north, and then we want the combinations, and the combinations are we want east-west for a mid-body, going from left to right or right to left, north-south going from up to bottom. A sec. Okay, so let's continue. I had a small break. So we had east, south, west, and north, and now we have east, west, and north, south. So this is great, and now we want the corner. So the corners can be, let's have a look. So let's start with north. So we can have a northeast, and then east, south, and then southwest, and then west, north. Okay, so I think this is actually all the possible directions. Okay, so we either have one or two, and two can be straight or like a corner. Okay, so between the part type and the part dir, we have all the possibilities of how should its part look. So let's start and use this variable. So let's make them public, so they can be available from other places. So and I'll actually do another thing. So let's do them as properties. So we'll have we'll start with the part type, and I'll just, this is a private one, so part type, and you know what, I'll do it like part type, instead of head I do it, I'll add unknown. Okay, so of course so unknown, of course we don't have it, right? We didn't add the unknown, so I can just either right click here or show context action, or press it here and create in a member unknown, and then it is just added here. So great, here we have the unknown, and we need I'll do it here in private part dir, I believe, and part dir, and this one will be equal to, again, unknown. Okay, so, and again I'll add it. Great. So this is really nice, but this, of course, because they are private, they can only be reached from inside this code, and I want to be able to change it from another place. So I can do it with different types of solution, but I'll do it currently as a public properties. So I'll do it like this. So public part type, and I'll just call it part type with lowercase p, and okay, so part type, and let's do it as property. So I'll open the curly brackets, and I'll have the get and the set. Now in the get I'll need to return the value, so I'll return the part type, and the set I'll give part type the value. So this word, the value, means that if I do something like part type equals something, then it will be used here as the value. Okay, and here of course it showed me the error because I need to use return value part type. Okay, so this property is ready. Now why do we need a property? Why not just use a public or something like that? I'll show you in a minute. But let's just create a property for this one. So public and part dir, and I'll do it like this. So part dir, let's do the get, and return part dir, and set, and part dir equals value. So what's good in the getter and setter, the properties, this is basically a function. So I can add additional code here and do different stuff. So I had here a small problem with the recording, so I'll just go over what I changed. So as I said, properties has their, it's like a function, okay? So the set is actually a function. So what I did, I added the update look of a part. And the update look of part, if I go to the definition, I'll just put here the condition for each part type to change the sprite to be the right one. Okay, so for mid body to put mid body and for tail to put the tail. Now these sprites are variables I added right here as a serial field, so all of them are sprite, and I added them inside Unity. Okay, so this is the sprite part, and I added here the value, and I added an additional one. And what I did is I went into the image folder, and for each image I had here, I opened it, and I just took it and like drag it up here. Okay, and this is the way. Now I have the way to work with the sprite and actually put them inside the sprite renderer. So this is what I do in the code. Okay, I'll go for the sprite renderer.sprite and put the value according to the part type. So this is the mechanism to change it. And this is a private function which is called through the properties, right? So this works great. This should work great. But in order to give the snake part the ability to work with the part SPR, I'll just move it a second here. So I added the code in the update. First of all, I created serialized field, which is the way to reach this part. So I create serial field part SPR and called it underline part SPR. So part SPR, if we look in Unity, and I'll look in the snake part, okay, so it just added the field here, and I just dragged from here like this. And this is the way to create the connection. Sorry, Control Z. So this is a good way to work. Now, if you going back to Unity and you can see the field here that you've listed as a serial field, the reason for that, by the way, let me zoom a bit. The reason for that is because you had some problem with the code. Once you have a problem with the code, it wouldn't update the window in Unity, this part, the inspector, so you can't see it. But because the code is working, I have it, and I could just create the connection. Once I have the connection, I can use the update and the input to get key down to get keys from the keyboard. And I actually used ChatGPT to ask him which key codes to use for keyboard number. And he showed me that the key code alpha 0 is the 0 key in top of the row of the keyboard. Okay, so this is exactly what I wanted. So now I supposedly have a way to control the way that the part looks. So let's have a look. So I'm going here, and this is basically all this mechanism is just for testing. So I'll go like this, and I'll run it. And let me zoom in. It still looks funny, right? This aspect ratio. I might need to change all of it. Anyway, so we have here the sprite. It looks funny. Okay, I'll go a bit backwards. And now if I just press the key, so I have 1, 2, 3, and 4. It doesn't work, but you see I can change from head to tail to body just by pressing the keyboard. Okay, because every time I press the keyboard, it just goes to the code. It activates the snake part. It activates it changes the part type, and because the property here of the part type is changing, it's changing the value and calls update the look of part. Okay, then it changes the way it looks, and this is great. This tests and shows us that everything works as expected. And this is like only the first step for creating this game. I will stop now with this video. I hope it was very useful and very helpful, and I'll probably continue on the next video. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next part of this tutorial. See ya.